Fun win yesterday for the Cubs. Big reasons why. Tucker Barnhart getting the scoring started. First home run in a Cubs uniform. Here's Cody Bellinger. His first home run as well, visiting the berm here at Sloan Park. And then the last pitch, Brendan Davis, a nice sliding catch. Cubs 11, Team Canada 7. And we get to do it all over again today. It's the Cubs against the Reds here on Marquee Sports Network from Sloan Park. 1-0. And that's drilled. Deep left field, Trey Mancini, bye-bye. Second home run of the spring for Trey Mancini. It's a two-run shot. Cubs on the board for the first time today. They're down 5-2.
I think the Cubs did a great job in the scouting department to be able to do that.
Wisdom crushes one. Deep center field to the track. At the wall. It's gone. We are tied. Patrick Wisdom, bye-bye. Three-run blast. Comes with a 5 spot here in the 6th. 5-0 deficit turns into a 5-5 game. Ball, 2 strikes. Mike Tauchman on second. 2 outs here in the 7th. Pitch, that's roped out the left center. It's a base hit for Luis Torrens. Mike Tauchman scores, and the big spring for Luis Torrens continues. 2 more hits today, an RBI double. It's 7-5 Cubs here in the 7th. Familiar faces, and you know what you're going to get as he shoots that into left field for a base hit. Torrens rounds third. Here's the throw home. It's wide. Alcantara to second. It's 8-5 Cubs.
What's he going to throw him here?
I think he's going to throw him a fastball.
You do?
You don't?
I think he's going to throw him another slider.
You're probably right.
I don't. It's a fun. We're playing chess together right now.
Never been a good chess player. 1-2. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. 98.
Checkmate, Alex Cohen.
Cubs 8, Reds 6. Go Cubs go. Cubs with another Cactus League game. A nice win for your Chicago Cubs. Brandon Hughes in for the Cubs to start the 7th inning. They lead 6-5. They get 3 home runs in the 6th. And Brandon Hughes last year, 3.12 ERA, 57 games, 57 2/3 innings pitched. Started off the year in the minors, but became the most viable left-handed pitcher for the Cubs in the 2022 season. He has that expectation for 2023. Pitch misses inside, count 1-0.
Yeah, Hughes got off to a little slow start in spring training, bothered by a little knee hiccup, I guess you could call it, but all taken care of, and has looked good since he came back from that.
1-0 pitch from Hughes, misses up high, count 2-0.
We were talking about it in the locker room earlier today about arguably one of the greatest debuts ever. Warms up on the mound because Daniel Norris got hurt, and then proceeds to go out there and strike out 5 with mom and dad in the stands. Like, I don't know.
Could you imagine?
You couldn't draw it up any better. It was just, I remember watching it live and just being like, this is so magical, and what a moment for this entire family, and yeah, just so special.
The swings he was getting on his slider too from some of the Pirate hitters in that game was like, yeah, there's something here. I don't know what it is. Maybe this pitch isn't great as the greatest thing in the world, but the Pirate hitters had no visual on that thing. They were checking swings constantly.
Hughes 3-1. Misses up high, ball 4. Brandon Hughes, mentioned the debut May 17, 2022, and some of those swings and misses on slider. There's his family. Yeesh. That's got to be such a cool feeling. I see Dempster smiling right now. He's just imagining himself in that spot. Couldn't ask for a better debut for Brandon Hughes. The pitch is taken down the middle to Jason Vossler. Count on 1-1. The best part about it, Brandon Hughes, an outfielder. I mean, Brandon Hughes, drafted as an outfielder out of Michigan State, didn't quite make the conversion. 2 years as a pitcher, and now probably the main left-handed pitcher out of the bullpen here for the Cubs at the big league level. Quite a career ascent.
Yeah, I mean, like, you know, it just shows you everybody's timeline is different, and your path might not be the same as the person behind you or the person that was before you. And as long as you just continue to go out there and work hard and improve and make the most of an opportunity. And I don't know if anybody made more of their opportunity, made more of it than he did last year, and he finds himself, like you said, probably the mainstay lefty in the bullpen, and now it's just up to him to go out there and repeat what he did.
1-2. Flared foul, out of play. And again, there's a slider.
Yeah, and just like those swings you saw, there's the pitching ninja out there, Rob Freeman, and he always talks about the swords. Brandon Hughes hands out a lot of swords.
Oh yeah,
there are a lot of awkward looking swings where they just kind of carve up a hitter.
2 spun foul behind home plate. And just the frequency of being able to throw the slider and just throwing it for strikes and perfect counts, and for somebody who hasn't been a pitcher for that long to be able to master that secondary pitch, being able to throw it comfortably at a big league level in a big situation, it's been really impressive to see.
Yeah.
Pitch cut on a miss, strike 3. Elevated against Jason Vossler. He didn't go slider. He went with a fastball up and away, and there's the pitch mix from Brandon Hughes.
Yeah, and then so when you get that slider, and you get guys kind of looking out that way, now you elevate a fastball, and it doesn't have to be 98 miles an hour. It can be 92, and it's by the guy.
Lance, question for you. I was trying to talk about it before the break as Hughes fires back to first. We talk about prospects and we talked about the Reds. Now, you've been here at spring training. You saw a simulated game here. You're on the backfields. Who has stuck out to you having a productive spring training here through the first month?
I'm going to go with Daniel Palencia. Daniel Palencia was acquired in the Andrew Chafin trade, who everyone obviously lovingly remembers, really fun figure who's in the organization a bit ago. They traded for Daniel Palencia. He throws really, really hard. He averages about 97, 98 in his fastball. The key is that he's a starting pitcher. Usually when you hear those velocities in the minors, you generally think he's destined for a relief role. There's a really interesting article written by Saris of The Athletic where he talked through, can a pitcher get to the major league level as a starter with 2 pitches? And the reality of it is that you do get a couple guys each year that kind of break in as 2-pitch. 2-pitch we'll say is like maybe 2 pitches over about 90-95% of the time, where maybe you have a third, but it's not used enough for the hitter to kind of care about it. So the one that comes to mind, obviously, that dominated last year, Spencer Strider. I don't know if I necessarily see similarities between Strider and Palencia. Strider's a little bit more down the mound. I think he's got a little flatter approach to his fastball. But Palencia throws incredibly, incredibly hard. He's able to maintain the velocity, and his command for that velocity at his age is already really advanced. So the question for me is, where do the secondaries go? He's got kind of a spinny slider that works really well to left-handed hitters because it doesn't really have a lot of that sweep we're talking about. You almost want to call it the anti-sweeper. We're talking about the sweeping slider. This is almost the anti-sweeper, which a guy like Daniel Palencia throws. He also has a curveball that they're still trying to refine and maybe use more as like a strike stealer. I really like him for the possibility that he could be this kind of 2-pitch starting pitcher. And then eventually as he ages, come up with other pieces of the repertoire, piece them together, get him comfortable. Deb, I'm curious on your perspective. Generating outs at the major league level purely with 2 pitches, those 2 pitches have to be exceptional to do it, right?
Yeah, or yes, that helps. You have to have command of those.
Yeah.
Today's starting pitcher for the Cincinnati Reds, 2-pitch pitcher.
Great example.
Not a lot of command, so what happens is falls behind the count, gives up home runs. You look at his pure stuff, and then you look at his numbers, and you're like, these don't match up. Now, when he has command like he did today, you're going to see those kind of outings where he mows through lineups. So I think you can be a 2-pitch pitcher as long as you have elite command. And if you can hone those 2 pitches in, and that's what Spencer Strider did so well, was command the fastball. Yeah. He dotted on the corners. He pitched and elevated when he wanted to. He did all those things. So, yeah, definitely having 2 pitches is fine, but you just have to have next level command.
Nice catch by Mike Tauchman, who just checked into the game. Sliding grab. Tauchman got his pants dirty. Sliding grab, glove parallel to the ground. Nice play for the second out here in the 7th. And you talk about Daniel Palencia from the pitching side. Is there a hitter, position player that stuck out to you?
Yeah, I've been thinking about this one. I think there's a couple. There's a catcher who kind of recently popped into the scene last year. His name is Moises Ballesteros. He's in Myrtle Beach. He got a little bit of a look there. If he can actually stick behind the plate, he takes big cuts, hits the ball really, really hard for how young he is. He's under the age of 20. Down in Myrtle. I hope he's maybe a guy who goes from Myrtle to South Bend this year, gets that jump against a little better liver pitching. But he's a left-handed hitter, right-handed catcher. I think if he could stick behind the plate, the offensive floor for him to ascend to in order to be a productive major leaguer maybe isn't particularly high, and he should be able to pass that pretty nicely.
Hit by pitch, brings runners at first and second. And here's one of those prospects you were talking about on the Red side, Noelvi Marte. Marte Part of a big deal that sent Luis Castillo to the Mariners, who then re-signed with the Mariners, and just a powerful right-hand hitting middle infielder. Can play short, can play third. His first game at high A after getting traded, I think he had like a 470-foot home run.
Yeah, he hit some absolute tanks in the Arizona Fall League, which is where the Mesa Solar Sox play at this very park, Sloan Park. And our guy Matt Mervis was down there. Marte was down there on another team. He hit some absolute bombs. He's got a lot of power.
Top 100 prospect takes a healthy hack at that one. Swings and misses.
And you can see the bat speed on that swing. Like, yeah, it's a healthy hack. It's a hard hack, but that bat's getting through the zone really quick.
1-1 count. Here's the pitch. Slide to left. Should be an easy third out, and it is. Lance, thank you so much. Really appreciate you coming on. I could do this all day.
Thanks, Lance.
All right, we'll go to stretch time. 6-5 Cubs lead here on Marquee Sports Network. Chicago Cubs Baseball Marquee Sports Network is brought to you by UI Health, changing medicine for good. By Toyota, official vehicle of the Chicago Cubs. By Prevagen. Prevagen is the #1 pharmacist recommended memory support brand. And by Budweiser. This Bud's for you.
Join the Cubs season ticket holder wait list today to claim your spot in our lineup for season tickets. It's easy and free to register. Just visit Cubs.com/waiting list to sign up.
Thanks so much, Depp. Thanks so much, Lance. 6-5 Cubs lead. Here in the 7th inning. Cubs were down 5-0. Scored 6 runs in the 6th. Casey Legomina, new pitcher here for the Reds. 33 games, about half as a starter, half as a reliever last year. 4.80 ERA, 86 and a third innings pitch. Some walks, more strikeouts, 92 to 36 strikeout to walk ratio. And the first pitch to Mike Tauchman misses low. Count 1-0. Depp, I can listen to Lance talk about baseball and stats all day long. He is a smart fella.
Yeah, and he just studies a lot of the minor leagues and really dives deep into, not just the everyday statistics. Obviously, he goes farther than that. We've done a lot of stuff with pitch movement on pitchers and vertical and horizontal movement, all kinds of stuff. He really works hard, and he knows what he's talking about.
Player Development Analyst for Marquee Sports Network. That is a great title for somebody who knows a lot about the players in this system. 3 balls and no strikes to Mike Tauchman doing a nice sliding catch in right field. Pitch from Legomina. It's the inside corner for a strike. Count 3-1. And we were talking to Lance, Ryan, and 3 home runs in that 6th inning. Nice to see Christopher Morel go deep.
Yeah, and he's having a good spring, and we were talking about all the energy he brings, and for him to get that first home run. That's it. That's a thing for hitters. Like, you want to have a good spring, you want to have good at bats, you want to get ready for the season, but you also want the ball to go over the fence. And so to get that first one, both him, Patrick Wisdom getting his first home run, nice to see both those guys going deep.
3 balls, 2 strikes to Mike Tauchman. This is inside ball 4.
Well, let's take a look at those home runs, and these home run replay brought to you by Toyota, official vehicle of the Chicago Cubs. Trey Mancini with a no-doubter. Patrick Wisdom absolutely crushes this baseball. And this one's on a rope into the bullpen, trying to give his teammate a souvenir. Christopher Morel, well done, fellas. 3
home runs in the 6th. Pretty good. Pitch to Kevin Alcantara, misses outside. Count 1-0. I will bring a quick meeting at the mound. Have some defensive changes here for the Reds. Nick Martini, former Iowa Cub, Chicago Cub, playing right field. Richie Martin in left. Christian Encarnacion Strand. He's had a monster spring. He's 12 for 20 with 2 homers. And then Austin Romine, another former Cub, doing the catching. Pitcher's popped a foul out of play behind home plate. Patrick Wisdom, that jolt onto the berm in left center field, and he's a guy that when he gets hot, look out. 55 combined home runs in the last 2 years. You can't just replace that. Pitch, cued foul behind home plate. And I like that he started in right. I like that he could DH. I like that he could play first and he could play third. There's a lot of value there.
Yeah, and he, listen, hey, he put up a bunch of home runs 2 years ago, and then last year he was on pace to do the same thing, and then he jammed his finger, and it just kind of, you know, zapped a little bit of his power. It was tough to grind out the end of the year. It was affecting his swing, and but he came in healthy, and he's ready to go, and he's had a good spring so far, and those are the kind of home runs he hits. He hits balls out on the wavelength throughout the course of the season. Like you said, he's the kind of guy who gets hot, and all of a sudden it's like, you know, 6 in a week. He just 2 a game, and he did that multiple times last couple of years.
He hits a lot of parked cars.
He does. A lot of moving cars too.
Here's Brennan Davis. Kevin Alcantara struck out. Pitch to Brennan is fouled away out of play. Count 0-1. The Wisdom, a guy who you get from the Cardinals organization, also played in the Rangers organization, was up and down between the big leagues, and started off with the Iowa Cubs in 2021. Hit 2 home runs in a game against Omaha. Comes up and has stayed since, and just provided a lot of value for this Cubs team. 0-1. This is outside. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Playing real good defense at third base. Cannon of an arm over there.
Just a really good athlete. I mean, he was a really good high school football player in the state of California. Would have gone D1, but got injured right before his senior year. So, you know what, I'll take up baseball. I mean, he played baseball before, but I'll focus on baseball. And then he became a first-round draft pick. Must be nice.
Yeah. Chose the right sport.
1 ball, 1 strike to Brennan Davis. Singled yesterday. Pitch. Outside corner, called strike. Throw down to second's not in time. Mike Talkman steals a base. Cubs a runner in scoring position.
See Talkman getting almost a running lead there. Got a real good jump out of the box. Romine not much of a chance. It would have had to have been a perfect throw right on the money to get him.
Good running form. Sprinter stride. Davis swings and misses. Count 2-2. And I was watching, you know, football players sprint for the last 3 days coming into spring training. I was watching the NFL Combine. He kind of looked like a strong safety.
He did, yeah. Well, he did a good job of running the ball down in right field in the top half of the inning, and draws the leadoff walk and stealing second. And you know, the jump he got, the pitcher picks over. So then you only get 2 left. Odds are he's probably not going to waste them back to back, and he just kind of banked on that. And as the clock was ticking down, he kind of timed it just perfectly.
Aside from Brennan on a 2-2 breaking ball. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Bottom 7, 6-5 Cubs lead. Won yesterday. Come from behind victory. 3-2. Fouled out of play behind home plate. Depp was getting in fielding position. You do not bring your glove with you, do you?
I barehand. I do. I do not bring a glove to the stands with me.
Have you ever barehanded a ball coming into the booth?
I haven't. I have not had the opportunity. I'm looking for it. I'm waiting for it. I want to make a web gem.
Get on Sports Center. 3-2 popped up right side of the infield. Catch made on top of the foul line by Christian Strand Encarnacion. 2 away.
Friday, March 30th is opening day at Wrigley Field. First 10,000 early arriving fans will receive an opening day pin. Purchase tickets at Cubs.com/tickets.
Appreciate it, Depp. That was Christian Encarnacion Strand. Puts away the second out here in the 7th. And here's Luis Torrens. And, well, Luis, he had 2 home runs in his first spring training game, and he singled here today. First pitch misses inside. Count 1-0. Just the catching depth for this team right now, with Tucker Barnhart, Jan Gomes obviously up in the big leagues, Dom Nunez, Luis Torrens, and at some point Miguel Amaya. I mean, that's 5 catchers deep that have either big league experience or big league aspirations. And it's the outside corner for a strike. Count 1-1. It's a different dynamic than last year, because you saw behind Wilson Contreras was PJ Higgins out of the organization now. John Hicks out of the organization now. So it's a different catching tandem, battery. Pitch, Sky deep down the right field line. Goes fouling out of play as we take a look at the 2 home runs from Tuesday. That ball's a lob wedge onto the berm in surprise. And that one more of a stinging 8-iron. Nice swings.
Yeah, really good compact swing and the approach. He's obviously looking center field to right center and is able to drive the ball that part of the ballpark. The first one, I was watching that on TV, and as soon as he hit it, I'm like, is that going to go over the guys in center and the cameras? And it did. I mean, it was
just travel.
Yeah, 450 feet back there.
Ball, 2 strikes. Mike Tauchman on second. 2 outs here in the 7th. Pitch, that's roped out to left center. It's a base hit for Luis Torrens. Mike Tauchman scores. The big spring for Luis Torrens continues. 2 more hits today. An RBI double. It's 7-5 Cubs here in the 7th.
We were just talking about his good compact swing and that approach of center field to right center, and this pitch kind of tries to run up and in on him, and to get on top of that baseball, he's locked in right now. He's feeling good at the dish.
Baseball coming in like a beach ball. Here's Sergio Alcantara. 7-5 Cubs lead. 7 unanswered runs. Here's the pitch to Alcantara. Take it down the middle for a strike count on 1-1. I like what the Cubs have done with veteran shortstops, depth pieces at the AAA level. In 2019, 2022, they had the same player, Dixon Machado. 2021, they had Sergio Alcantara. They have him back again this year. Familiar faces, and you know what you're going to get as he shoots that into left field for a base hit. Torrens rounds third. Here's the throw home. It's wide. Alcantara to second. It's 8-5 Cubs. Depth players to have at bats like that.
Yeah, 100%. Listen, not everybody on the team is going to stay healthy all year. It might be just something minor. You have guys miss some time. So to have depth is super important. It's vital to the success of your team. When you can have players that start to gain experience. Sergio got some experience last year and then is back again this year, obviously. And I'm sure at some point we'll be seen up in Chicago.
Sergio Alcantara with an RBI single. 6 runs in the 6th, 2 runs here in the 7th. 8-5 Cubs lead. And here's Pete Crow Armstrong. Lays down a bunt right in front of the mound. Legomena picks it up, bare hands to first. It just gets PCA. And he can move down the line. Ends the inning. Cubs, they get 2 more runs. They lead 8-5. We'll go to the 8th right here on Marquee Sports Network.